So I'm going to work through the OpenStax text, the statistics book, chapter 3, homework number 109. You can access the book for free. You can look in the description of the video for a link. And also my website, divideandconquermath.com, has lots of OpenStax resources and Excel resources. They're all free. Just go to the website and you can look in the description. So I'm in the OpenStax textbook. And so what we have here is we have this table and we've got some information. So this table gives the number of participants in the recent National Health Interview Survey who have been treated for cancer in the previous 12 months. The results are sorted by age, race, and sex, and we are interested in possible relationships between age, race, and sex. So first of all, we need to fill in this table. That is the first thing that we've got to do. And so I want to show you just how would you do that in Excel. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I am just going to copy this table, and just as a copy paste tip here, I have found that this works better if I start from the rightmost side and copy over. So I'm going to start here. Let's see, it's picking up stuff I don't want it to pick up. So let's see, I'm going to start here. I'm going to hope that this copies correctly. So I copy the table. I'm going to hit Control C on my keyboard, and then I'm going to hit Control V. So from here, you have two options on how to paste this. You can paste it and you can see that it's formatted how it was from the book. Or if you go into paste, there's the little down arrow in the paste area. So the other way that you could paste this if you don't want it to be formatted like that is, so you can see here we have keep source formatting is one option, or match destination formatting. So this would paste everything without formatting. So it doesn't matter which way you want to paste it, just pointing it out that there's two ways to do that. Okay, so first things first, we need to fill in this table. So I'm going to just kind of expand the columns out a little bit. Okay, so to fill in this table, I'm really just going to use subtraction. So this row here needs to foot to 8,395. So I can basically just use subtraction to subtract out the pieces that I don't want. And once I write this formula once, so this should be minus. Okay, so once I write this formula once, so I double check my formula, I've got this, minus this, minus this, minus this. I'm checking the formula up here. So this is what I just need to do all the way down. So I am going to then just take the little black cross here and bring this down. Now, if you aren't familiar with what I just did there, so that is a move that we use. That's like basic Excel stuff. So I have other videos that talk about that, but I'm just going to kind of skip over that and refer you to my other videos if you're not familiar with that. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to take this total minus these other values here and copy all those over. And so let's see. So if I copy this all the way over, so you'll notice one thing happens. This is a little bit important actually. So this table looks all good except for this little green box here with a warning, and it says inconsistent formula. So this is not telling you necessarily that there is an issue. It's something just to think about for a moment. So the reason it's saying inconsistent formula is that this way down we used one formula and this way over we used another formula. So we just want to be sure that what we've done is okay. And so in this case, just looking at how I got into this, so I was given a total. Let's see, I had to compute the total on my own, but I feel confident in this total. And then I'm okay with the fact that this formula here is different from the rest in the column, just because that's the only way that we can get to this all others number. So this all looks good. So Excel sometimes will give you little warnings, and you always want to just take a second just to kind of read it over and see if it's warning you on something that you should be actually, worried about. Okay, so from here, I should be able to finish this question. So one thing I like to do is I like to copy the questions and put them in my spreadsheet. So I'm going to copy these questions and I'm going to paste them down here. Now you'll see here that the way that I've pasted this, I don't personally like the way that this looks. So I'm going to show you a different way on how you can paste this. So I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to undo that. Let me blow out my screen a little. So to paste text in Excel, the way that I prefer to do this is I go to the Insert tab, and then I go over here to where it says Text, and I go to this text box. I draw a little text box, and then I paste everything in. And so personally, I just like how this pastes a little bit better, and now I can see all the questions. For some reason, it didn't label them, but that's okay. So it says, so fill in the columns and fill in the rows. So we did all that. So these two right here, these two things right here, I'll put them in green. So those two things are done. And then find the probability that a randomly selected individual was a white male. Okay, so in total, looking at this, I have 21,081 participants. And so my white males are this entire row here. So for the probability that we have just a white male, since that is all of this here, I'm going to take the total of white males divided by the total of participants. And so there's my first answer. So this one is done. So put in green. Find the probability that a randomly selected individual was a black female. So same idea, so black female. So I've got this entire row here are all of my black females. So I can take that total divided by the total number of participants. So that one's done. Find the probability that a randomly selected individual was black. Okay, so now we just want to be a little bit more careful, right? Because now it's male or female. So that from my contingency table, that's going to be 2 rows, right? So that's going to be all of this data here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I just want to use parentheses when I'm setting up the Excel. So I need to add this total and this total and then divide it by the total number of participants. So I can just do it like that, but you want to have parentheses, right? Because you want to add those two first before you divide. So just respect the order of operations. And then continuing on, find the probability that a randomly selected individual was male. Okay, so we're told here at the beginning, do not include all others for the last parts. So these last two questions, we don't have to worry about the fact that all others is not broken out by male versus female. We don't have to worry about that. So we just need to select all of the males. So in this case, so my males are here, I have the white males, and I have the black males. So I am going to put parentheses around all of that, and then again I can just divide by my total to get my total there. And then finally, out of individuals over 65, find the probability that a randomly selected individual was a black or white male. Okay, so now we're talking about something pretty specific, right? So we're talking about just the individuals who are 65. So now we're only focused on this column here. So this is saying just out of this, find the probability that a randomly selected individual was a black or white male. So we'll say out of 65, you have to be a male. So in this case then, so a black or white male, so here are my, this 1491, this is my white males, and then 104, there are my black males, and then out of the total number who are 65, that's this 3656. So I need to then divide this number by 3656. And let's see. So this is, in this case, this is returning something that I didn't want. So I'm going to change this to a number, and I'll just expand the decimals. Okay. And okay, so you can see that just when I happened to do this, Excel gave me something kind of goofy. So I just clicked up here to increase the decimals, and now I can see that I've got the right number here. And so I'll just double check that one more time. So this is out of my individuals who are 65, the probability that a selected individual is a black or white male. That would be this column or this category and this category divided by the total. So I feel good about that number. And so that is how you can approach that particular problem.